I'm Dave Hermel. This is my lovely wife, Darcy, and we're Mankato residents and been in the area for, well, over 36 years. Well, Myra and Howard also grew up around the area. She met Howard during the war, and they got married, and then Howard started the canning tobacco business with his father, which we were in, and then later got out of the tobacco side of it and stayed in the candy side of it. Back in Memorial Weekend of 2013, Myra was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She wasn't feeling good, losing a lot of blood and whatnot. And
Myra, had to have some surgery, colon surgery, and she made it through that. But the cancer had spread into a couple other organs, so they couldn't remove it all. So a couple months later, ended up back in the hospital and found out that the cancer really had spread quite far. And so had some more tests done and realized that it had gone into her lungs and her liver. And at that point, realized that she was not a candidate for any further treatment. And so we had to start thinking about the next conversations, which were very difficult for our family to talk about, end-of-life conversations. And we just were having difficulty. We'd get the conversation started, and then we couldn't go any farther with it.
when you have a 90-year-old father and an 89-year-old mother, and everyone's confused to begin with, palliative care was really fantastic as far as getting everything started with how the treatment was going to go, how you were going to take care of this situation, and actually asking the spouse if he understood what was going on and how this was going to go and how they're going to tie it into hospice and how they're going to, when she wanted to be at home, so how that transition was going to take place, which was really nice in the hospital. For a rough situation, hospice was fantastic in putting that all together.
Well, it was a team. It was, we needed the team. We needed the spiritual aspect of it. That was important. There were issues with her diet, so we needed that conversation. We needed pain management. That was certainly an aspect of it.
That was where mother wanted to be, was at home. And without hospice, it wasn't possible.
Myra's biggest priority was being at home.
Yeah.
And Dave's father needed her at home. So when the palliative team asked Myra, they asked her, if your time is short, what's your biggest priority? And she said, I want to go home. And that was made possible, and that was the best thing for her and Howard. They both needed that. Everything was possible too with hospice. Medical equipment.
Yes.
We needed medical equipment, and we'd try things. They'd bring in like lifts and things, and the next day if we needed a different piece, that would be brought in, and nothing was too much. The experience of being on the receiving end of hospice support gives me a whole new appreciation for the value of hospice. I just am so grateful for hospice. Having been a volunteer, I knew it was important, but having felt it and been there every day, it's just invaluable. It's such a gift and so important. Also, having been to the family fundraiser for many, many years, you go and you get into it and you support it, and I know that's important. But while you're there, you might not realize how important it is until you maybe are using those services. And then you realize how important it is to support that fundraiser and all it encompasses.
And the volunteer work, etc.
And all the volunteers and everything about hospice.
I think everybody, we always take our lives for granted. We go to work every day, we come home, we do our things, and all of a sudden the family's faced with something, and until you experience it, it's so important to have this available to us in this community.
Now, having recently been in those shoes, we're just so much more keenly aware of how important hospice is. And not that we want anybody to have to go through hospice, but you know, chances are that many people will, and you know, we just need to be grateful and supportive of hospice.
And we're very lucky in Mankato, in our area, St. Peter and Le Sueur and the surrounding area, to have such a great group as hospice, because they're just very well organized, great volunteers, very professional. And you know, all of us are going to take that journey someday, and it's really nice to know that you have that support group behind you.